Well, if you're listening to this part of the podcast, thank you so much. This is where we do like another topic, mostly usually gaming related. It could be new gaming news, or like retro stuff like today, and or other things, other things that we want to talk about that aren't really Transformers related, movie reviews, etc. This is just the topic part of the video, podcast. So yeah, the third segment, and yeah, today I'm talking about. I've been going through my game collection. I'm not getting rid of any games except doubles that I've not. I realized, oh, you did buy Spider-Man 2 on Xbox 8 times, but I'm going through my collection, and yeah, I bought some of it up, but I'm gonna keep a chunk of it out. I have on that backloggery site. It says I have 2,000 something games, and they're not all listed. Like I don't have every one of my games in here, so I'm condensing like around 2,100 games into a playable collection. So I'd like to get some of your, you're the retro guy. You collected so much retro stuff, and yeah, what is your thoughts on like, the playable collection versus like, having 2,100 games on a shelf?
Well, I mean, the thing is like at least you've reached the point when you actually see that that you have too much out, and that you want to have a playable collection, because a lot of people do not feel that way. They feel like the more stuff they have out, the cooler their collection is. Whereas what it is you get completely a big, huge collection becomes an unplayable collection. It just becomes something you stare at, because you've gone from a gamer to a collector, and it's hard to transition back into a gamer when all you're concentrating on is bulk. And so, I mean, you're doing the right thing. And believe me, when you have 2,000 games, making a playable collection, you're still going to have 500 games on your shelf.
Yes, that's fine. And like I said, I am keeping out actually all my GameCube games and all my PS1. I'm still, but yeah, I'm still because like the PS1 stuff I'm not gonna play, but I love them in the CDs. I love how PS1 looks.
Mm-hmm.
So and I have like few close to 100-ish or more. I'm not sure, but I have, yeah, I'm looking at that site right now. So there's 100 documented, and I have in this I have exactly 2,200 games documented, and I have like at least like 50 or 100 games I haven't put in here.
Right.
But and I have my GameCube games. But like I said, those are that's two collections out of I have Dreamcast, Sega CD, Xbox 360, Game Gear. The list goes on. Atari, PC, PlayStation 3. But the two that I'm keeping out of, I see like 20 or 25 games types listed here. The ones that I'm definitely keeping out, like full collections, is PS1 and just GameCube.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'll have a section for those. That's easy. And then, yeah, like you said, everything else up to 500 games, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and when I had my collection, the collections that I kept out on my shelf were original Xbox and PlayStation. Those are the two that I always kept whole. Everything else I pared down, and even my GameCube collection, because I had two shelves, like 200 just sports games. So I'm not staring at that. So, like there's only one NHL game you ever want to play on the GameCube, and I had that out, and everything else was in a box. And this is the thing, you need to do that or it becomes overwhelming. And you need to almost have a separate shelf of games that you intend to play next, because if you start mixing them in, you just lose track of them.
Yeah, but once I go to this like few hundred collection, that'll actually be impressive for me to like go through.
Oh,
I like to know what to
sure.
play, at least for me for now, because like I was pretty good at this, and then it just got out of hand. But like it's just like like but the thing is, like all the games I pulled out were like beat 'em ups and like the shooter type stuff. But I mean, it is what I'll play, so.
No, that's the thing, and you can always rotate. That's the cool thing, is you can rotate out what you and the stuff you have played. It doesn't need to stay out, and like keeping heavy hitter games out is always fun, because people will come and see you. Well, I mean, on the off chance someone comes and looks at the shelf, when they see a shelf full of games that are each worth $100 and there's 50 on the shelf, that's the way that I used to feel. Like people would come to my house and they would look at my games and just be like, this is insane. Like they'd look along the shelf and they'd be like, well, this game's worth 100, this is worth 125, this is worth 50, this is worth 75, and there's a shelf full of them. Like it's an impressive bulk of
Yeah, like
stuff.
I'll
Like
keep all my sealed boxed. Like I have a different display for my Nintendo stuff. I'll probably keep that, but I'm gonna pull out all the loose cartridges like Turtles in Time and Donkey Kongs and all that, and I'm putting those ones in my other area that I'm
right.
gonna play. But
Yeah.
I'll leave like the Flintstones and the crazy like all the boxed Secret Manas and Chrono Triggers. I'll leave like how they are because they're displayed. They don't take up too much room.
No. And the thing is the room they do take up is important. It's
Mhm.
nice to see those
Yeah,
games. Like you
yeah.
don't. Why box those up? Because they're it's a display piece more than anything. You know, like
It's Switch, I guess. Like I don't like that. There's no that's somewhat relevant. So like I can keep that out because and it's small. It's on that shelf. Like there's not much of it.
yeah, it doesn't take up a lot of room and it's current. So it's okay, you know what I mean? Like it's not like it's not like you're going to have 500 Switch games. So it's not taking up a lot of room, and
No.
how many of those are you actually going to play anyway? So
Yeah, no, that can be condensed later on, but
uh-huh.
it's like yeah, like I said, like I kept like I'm gonna I even know like you know how much I love my original Halos, but I'm gonna put away the Xbox One's versions and I'm just keeping that Master Chief one out because it has them all. Yes, I love those ones, and like I'm not selling any of these games. Like I wish I had a house to display this in a separate area, right? But you know, and then I'd have my own area where I'd have all the games I play, like I'm doing now too, right? But I just like if I had a basement and I could have like all these games out, sure.
Yeah,
But I don't
no.
have that much room.
No, exactly. Like when I had a 2-bedroom apartment, one bedroom was just the game room, and it was literally every wall was shelves, and every shelf was games. And I could display all my boxed consoles and all my boxed, everything, and every wall was filled with games. And there was like, oh, here's my Nintendo wall, here's my Xbox wall, here's my PlayStation wall, and it was crazy, but it was very impressive. I had a separate game set up in there where the TV and all the consoles, and it was very impressive to have it in a separate area. If you don't have that luxury of space, it's not great to keep filling up a hole that doesn't exist. Like when your video games are too deep on the shelf, there's no point in having that collection anymore.
Yeah, I guess I don't mind that for like the GameCube and the whatever that I'm like putting a full collection on my shelf because I can put all the stuff I don't really play in the back, right? But like when you don't have that area of the games that you want to play and you're digging through, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, no, it is. For something that should be displayed, quote unquote, for a game collection. It always drove me crazy when I started to double stack or like stack things horizontally in piles on the shelf because I kept buying new stuff and I didn't have enough room on the shelves, so I started horizontally stacking a bunch of different games on shelves. It just starts looking like a thrift store after a while,
Yeah.
and it would drive me crazy. Like I wanted my collection to be like able to be displayed one deep, like in order well, it wasn't in any order, but I mean, it was basically most expensive to lamest, right? And once it gets out of hand, you become kind of the game collection controls you instead of you controlling it. And right now you're taking control of your game collection. You're the only thing. You're what comes between it being something you stare at to something that you play. And so now you're turning it into something that you can play. And it's so smart. It's so smart. Other people should do it. I mean, like, your game collection doesn't define who you are. So I mean, it's meant to be something you do play, and these games are created to be played, not to be stared at. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds out of it. You're saying, just like me, all the games I put away, I just put them away. I never sold them. I never did anything. I had, well, I don't know, 1,500 games, something like that.
Yeah.
But 500 were never in circulation. Like I never had them out. I just didn't have the room. 1-bedroom apartment in Vancouver. Come on, there's no room to put that.
No. No, it's just like yeah, like I said, if you had the room, like you're like, okay, this is the like you know what I mean, like you said, either like some of them definitely all one deep, and then like yeah, some like I wouldn't mind if I had like my Xbox fully displayed in like order of whatever, and like I
Hmm.
had like all the sports games in the back row, and then I had like all the major stuff up front. That wouldn't really bother me, because
Uh-huh.
it's like it's just it's funny to pull it out too and show, but like yeah, so all my PS1s, I wouldn't want them stacked on each other or anything like that. Cardboard games I wouldn't like. I'd want that all displayed 1D. But yeah, in a separate area, and you're like, this is the collection, the library room of the games, right? This is
Hmm.
not about playing them. This is about just looking at them and doing the
Yes.
oh. But then come over here to like the chill hangout couch room or whatever, and it's like, and here's like 300 400 games that like I will play or have played or like I'm playing like in it. I'm playing a couple hundred of these at least.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, refining it is the smart thing to do. And I mean, like I said, a lot of people don't feel that they can do that, because the game collection, it's become greater than the sum of its parts. It's it's a huge behemoth that controls the person that's putting the things on the shelf at that point. But because you can't play it anymore, if you've got more than 30 JRPGs that are 250-hour JRPGs, well, I got news for you. You're never going to finish those games. You're never going to play those games. And if you are going to play those games, why do you have 1,000 other games? Because those games will take up all your time.
Hmm.
There comes to a point when reality has to set in that, sure, like I had no qualms collecting games. I had, like I said, I had 1,400 games. I had, if I had kept collecting, I would have as many or more games than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're in the same boat. So I mean, like I look at your collection, I just see my old collection, right? So I mean,
Hmm.
that's how it is. But like I couldn't. There came a point where I was like, I'm not a gamer anymore. I'm not a gamer. I'm just a collector. I just buy stuff to look
Hmm.
at, and that has to change. So I created the playable pile, the actual games I was going to play. I played 13 games in 2 months, finished front to back, and I was like, this is amazing. Like I've actually turned back into a gamer. Like I still appreciate the older games. I still appreciate buying PS1 games and finding them and putting them on a shelf. But I had no intention of playing them, and I knew that and it was okay because I also had the playable collection going. So there was a balance in between the both. I had separated the playable games from the collection. The collection was something else at that point. It didn't matter. It mattered in a different way than the playable collection. So,
Yeah.
it's a way, once you separate the two, then it's okay to have the collection that you're never going to play, right? That you have no intention of playing. It's just a bunch of games.
Yeah.
But your pile that you do intend on playing, that's where you concentrate your
Yeah.
actual
Focus.
your focus, your effort goes to that. It's
Yeah.
no effort to buy a stack of games from a thrift store. It's no effort
No.
that you're never going to play. Uh, I still buy games. I mean, granted, I just give them to you because I know they're going in the museum, and I mean, like,
Yeah.
if I see
You see him? Oh no.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I don't care. It
Yeah, I
means that
know.
I can still buy video games, which is what I do. It's what I did for a decade, right? And I can
It's cheap.
still
I just do it on the cheaper now.
I just do it on the cheap, and that's the thing. If they're $2 or $3, it doesn't matter. And if I know you don't have it, I'll
Hmm.
pick it up because now I can still do it, but I'm doing it it's for a good cause, right? It's not for me. I'm not putting them on a shelf. It's not my shelf. It's your shelf. So I still get to scratch that itch. I still get to be the game junkie without having to actually shoot up the actual the actual stuff. You get the benefit of that.
Hmm.
So it's it, separating the two collections, you've done you're doing the right thing. That's all I can say.
Hmm.
And I can't wait to see your playable collection. And
Oh, dude, it's gonna be like all like yeah, trashy anime games and like brawlers and 2D and like fighters and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I mean,
and like shooting like yeah, shoot 'em ups and like
yeah, I mean, your
yeah,
idea of a playable collection,
impulse gaming.
Yeah, exactly. Impulse gaming. Your idea of a playable collection wasn't my idea of a playable
No.
collection, right? Like, I mean, and the games I played, what I did is I usually just got rid of them because
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, I finished Alien Isolation. I don't need this game anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I would usually like find out if anyone didn't have the game that I knew, and I would just mail it to them. What does it cost me? 3 or 4
Mm-hmm.
bucks to mail it to them, and then they get to enjoy it. I've actually done something good. I finished the game. Someone else hasn't played it. I've given it away. I've passed the fun on to someone else because I don't need to stare at a game like especially a brand new game like an Xbox One game. There's
Yeah.
no point in having it on my shelf if I finished it. Like there
Hmm.
really isn't. It's pointless. Like it's not worth it. Like so, this is the thing. Like it's I can't wait to see your pared down collection because I saw it when it was
Well, the
and
thing is that sucks is like where I want to put it. I want to put it like under that table where all the Michael Bay figures are, but I have all the Michael Bay figures there.
right, so you have to get rid of those in order to move the collection.
Yeah, or like at least move. I have to move them somewhere for the meantime and get this other thing going because like, yeah, that's how I kind of want. Like that's enough room. That's how I see it. And like I'll have other games here and there, but yeah, but like yeah, that's the one thing too that freaked me out about it is my playable collection. Yeah, then the people might not want to play that. So but I guess I have lists of everything. So
Well,
be
I
like,
mean,
well, I guess we're going hunting in the closet to find a Need for Speed Nitro or whatever it is.
yep.
You
No,
know?
I mean the thing is always keep your boxes separate so you know what has Xbox in it, what has PlayStation in it.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and put all your sports games in one that you're never going to play. Like you're not going to play NBA 2K3 on the Xbox ever in your life under any circumstances. Even if someone puts a gun to your head and says you have to play this game, it would just be like, well, just pull the trigger because I'm not
Yeah.
going to play that. So, so all the sports ones you're never going to play, put them in the box in the bottom, and then what you do is label the box. Label the
Yeah, I
box
know, but this is
Xbox.
me we're talking about. Like, I'm not like, yeah, like that's not traits that I have. So I'm not very. I'm like, yeah, Picasso. That's how I organize. There's some genius behind some of the stuff I do, but a lot of it's just like shapes on shapes. Everything's just everywhere. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, remember, like you can always rent one of my closets out. You can put all your figures that you're not going to use. You can rent one of my
I'm
closets.
already filling my mom's place up. She's got all my masterpiece Transformers boxes.
You're a mess.
I am. I don't want to get rid of those. I'll toss other boxes. I don't want to get rid of those.
No,
So.
of course not.
If
No.
I need to try, if I ever do need to move and put, well, I will move. But once I put I want them in there. The masterpiece need their box to like go to somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's the thing. Like you have to have the room, and you having a one bedroom where your place. You have an economy of space there. You don't have the luxury of displaying 2,000 video games, unfortunately.
I know I don't with 2,000 action figures. It's condensed the video games to the weird anime playable collection, and then then put out more of the toys.
Yeah, it's the thing. The sacrifices have to be made somewhere. And it's up to you to figure that out. I mean,
Yeah,
at the
like
very
I have it
least.
all listed. Like you said, I could list it a little bit. At least I could do like Xbox games on the. Even if I just put Xbox games on the box, that's a step. And then like if if I had an idea like, oh, I do own that game, homie, let's do like a video on that. Well, that's not on the shelf. Where is it? Oh, it's in here.
Yeah, no. Well, that's all I did. I didn't put a list of what games were in the box. I just wrote PlayStation 2. I mean,
Well, if I can even do that, I'm saying like that is good that you did it, but I'm just like I hope I can do that.
Yeah. Well, just take that extra step.
Hmm. And I'll do that. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, yeah, it'll be interesting. But like the thing about having all my playable GameCube games out too, that's a bunch of different stuff that people could play or I could play too.
Well, I mean, the GameCube collection it's kind of impressive because it's one of those tier 2 level collections where it's not just PlayStation where it's like those games are a dime a dozen. There's GameCube games are getting harder and harder to come by. So I mean,
And the
to see
graphics are still pretty hold up, like especially with that 4K adapter I have,
right.
4K 1080p adapter. But because the stuff is like it looks like they have circles and stuff. Like U64 is all polygons. At least GameCube has circles and actual textures and stuff.
Right, right. No, exactly. I mean, a lot of those games, like, while I'm hard pressed to say they unquote hold up to this day. They're still really nice, especially in a higher resolution, right? So,
Yeah, like Luigi's Mansion with that thing looks pretty decent still.
oh
And
no, I would imagine.
Sunshine in that. I mean, it's like it looks a little strange, but like if you compare that to me, like if that still holds up compared to like GameCube. I mean, 64, PS1. You know.
Oh no, for sure. Well, PS1, like there are some moments in those games where you're just like, what is going on here? Like it's all triangles, right? It's like,
I know it's impressive to get through nowadays, but there's
uh,
some games that are good, like the 2D fighters that were like art drawn and stuff. They're really good still.
well, because you can't screw that up. I mean, it's an
Mhm.
easy thing
It's
to produce.
timeless.
Is exactly. I mean, it fits that resolution that it's played at, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, it's the GameCube collection is fine. Like I always have my GameCube collection out in its entirety, But when you have
Yeah.
450 GameCube games, you're like, yeah, check this out, right?
Yeah,
When
close to
considering one of the
but
most expensive games I had was a sports game, and it was just lined up with all the sports games, and no one ever knew it was a $150 game, and it was just
yeah.
lost in the sports games.
Yeah. It's about in a weird way.
I know. Only I was, no one's gonna break into my house and be like, "Oh my God,
They have
it's
2K.
yeah, NCAA 2K,
Yeah.
whatever." Like, oh, I never even played it either. I never, like, I'd never even bothered putting it in. I was like,
No.
whatever.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'm trying to make some big steps. I'm trying to get rid of that. Like I'll maybe just put them together for Toy Traders, all my Star Wars figures, because
Mhm.
that's easy to move. And then yeah, I talked to Tony about the ages 3 and up stuff. About I sent him pictures of the pile, and he's like, yeah, just document them like singly or whatever, and send it to him, and yeah, they'll take them probably.
Yeah, for sure.
So I gotta just get on it.
Yeah, it's just it's the process. It's you have once you have a fluid collection where you're like, okay, I can get rid of this because I need room for the other stuff I really like. Then that's
Yeah, I don't
that's
know those big
maturity.
Warmers or Star Wars, but like, yeah, I'll never. That's what I mean. I just thought, will I ever sell my Turtles? Never.
No, come on.
Yeah, will I ever sell some of my Dragon Ball Z's? Never. Like that stuff I don't want to give up. McFarlane DC guys, yeah, maybe I'll sell them 10 years from now, but right now I love them to death. And I'm not even into DC that much. But I just like, I think, whatever, there's something different, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to display them. They make me happier. That's the thing. Like, I've been trying to, like, I know people are like, well, toys, you just buy them, put them on your shelf. I'm like, yeah, but that's what they're meant for, dog. Like, you buy a game and put it on your shelf. That's not what that's meant for, you know?
No, that's right.
And
That's
it's like,
right.
if you've opened the toy and put it on your shelf, that's the most experience you can get, and that's exactly what the thing is supposed to offer.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, like people always say, like to me, I sold all my games off, and they're like, yeah, but now you're just buying Transformers, and I'm like, yeah, but at least Transformers do something. It's in the name. They
Hmm.
transform. What
Hmm.
does a game do? Nothing. It's all about how you experience the game. Like one
Got to
person's
play it to
game
get
of
the
the yeah,
most.
that's right. One person's game of the year is another person's trash. But a toy is a toy, right? Like I can get so much more out of a toy,
Hmm.
posing it and photographing it and playing with it and transforming it and looking, like in 2 years I can look at the head sculpt on one of my toys and be like, wow, I never noticed that. And I'm getting something out of it then. But when I'm staring at the spines of a bunch of video games I'm never going to play, I get nothing out of it. Pride,
Hmm.
maybe, but it's misguided pride because it's
And
pride
it's
of
different. Like a whole bunch of random games is kind of like I mean, if you're focused on collections, I mean, whatever. But like, like for me, if I had like all my anime games all together in a cluster as a collection that I didn't play all of them, I'd be happy, right? Because it's like it's themed in a way. It's like you got all these like fighters and all these weird anime games
oh right
that you
no I mean
like. But
yeah I
yeah,
mean my original Xbox collection I loved it so much like it was a baller collection like it was there was some really awesome games in there, and like I loved my Xbox, I loved the games, and it was the hardest thing for me to get rid of. It was if I was going to keep anything, it would have been that. But
Mm-hmm.
the thing is it's a slippery slope. So I keep that, and that means I'm still buying games to stick on a shelf somewhere, and I had to get rid of it. So I mean, it's all or nothing, right? This was for me. It was all or nothing. I needed to get to purge everything, but that was the hardest. It was the hardest thing to get rid of because I enjoyed all of that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I just yeah, but it had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't remember what my point was there, but it was like, even still, I had a hard time getting rid of everything.
Mm-hmm. It's
It's
understandable.
yeah.
It is what it is. Like, yeah.
Do I regret it? No. Do I miss it? Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm not at that. Like, I don't think I'd ever be necessary for that because that stuff now that I've have it and like how I've had it and how this virus stuff has happened, like, and it's like shot everything up all of a sudden. And I got
Right.
this stuff like 6, 7 years ago,
Yeah.
and like it's just like okay, this is awesome. Like, I'm glad I'm not hunting for it now, and I'm not gonna spend money on expensive stuff anymore. I'm just gonna buy it like cheaper. You know what I mean?
Right.
Lucky draw because now I have every game I've ever wanted that's ever come out. So there you go. And then like yeah, stuff coming out that I want to try, but um yeah, it's just yeah, now I have it and I am a preserver. I don't know the perfect word for it, but like some sort of librarianist. Like I want to get like the like up the comics. I want to collect some of those. I would love to have a room with like these are the comics, these are like the games I still have, and then like yeah, here's my playable collection. Or I swap these out, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I would like that library like room with all the games, but like, and I'm headed there in a sense. Like I'm trying to get my stuff together. It's not going to happen in a year from now or anything, but I'm actually going to start focusing on, I'd lot more money saved than I ever thought I would. So I know my mom said she would help me if I got to a certain point to get a place or something. So
Right.
I mean, it's in the cards, just got to keep living.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, to have the goal of having a functional collection where, you understand the difference between the stuff you're just sticking on the shelf and the stuff you're actually going to use, that's where you need to be. That's where you need to
Hmm.
be with anything, with any part of your life. You need the
Hmm.
part where you need to understand the frivolous part from the actual business part. And,
Hmm.
it's it's just part of growing up, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like that part with the collection, and like I actually do want to play some stuff or like record some stuff down the road once I'm a bit better set up on stuff again, and
Hmm.
like yeah, then like if I could actually play some games before and get used to them, and then I was like, okay, maybe I'll make a video on this or something, or do a little video on something, and then I'll be playing the game more.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I feel I like that. I want to do some odd gaming stuff on the channel. It's just like I said, it's tough when excuse me, it's tough when you have so many games and don't know what to do, and then you get lost in it all. And I've said before, I do admit that I am a bit more of a collector at times than a gamer now. But I mean, I don't have any problem saying that because I'm just a collector in general. I always have, so I think my collecting has always kind of outweighed my gaming, unless it was like the Gears of War era when I was like playing like intensely every day with people and stuff.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing. I mean, like I think I've come to the realization in my gaming career that I'm probably not an actual gamer anymore. In that, I mean, the last game I finished was, I believe, Halo or Division 2 with
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
I haven't started a game that I've finished in I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years. I play Arma 3 with my friends. I'm
Yeah.
playing Battlefield 5 with my friends. I'm playing that kind of stuff, and I just play it because I'm with my friends, not because I want to play these games. I wouldn't play them by myself. So
Hmm.
it's the hangout scenario. I don't look at new games coming out. Maybe Fable, I'll play that,
Yeah.
but let's see, will I finish it? This is
Yeah.
it. I have That's it. Yeah, I think I've finally reached that point where the games, unless I'm gonna get something out of it, like I no longer have very much vested interest in the gaming industry as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's a little sad right now, but like I
I
said, there'll
know.
be certain things I like that'll come out, but
Yeah, I mean, there'll come a day, right? There'll come a
hmm.
day. Maybe it's just a phase I'm going through. Maybe it's just like, I just don't, right now, I don't feel like I can devote 8 hours in a row to playing because,
Well, I don't
I,
want to do it with no like. For me, it's like with no sort of like creative outcome from it. I don't want to invest that much time. I don't.
right,
I don't care about leisure time that much.
right,
Like
exactly.
it's hard for me to watch a 2 hour movie. I'm not gonna waste 6 hours anymore playing online. I mean, there could be a day where I do that, like a Sunday or something, right? Like
Hmm.
when I actually want to hang out and play with people online. Yeah, that could happen, but it's just like I don't want to do that daily and like without some sort of like goal. I guess I know it's stupid. I can't relax really, but
Oh no,
it's
no, I feel that. I feel that. Unless I'm getting something out of it. Like you said, you have a hard time sitting through a 2 hour movie. Well, same here. I mean, like,
hmm.
I don't I feel like I'm not getting anything out of it. Like I'm not, nothing's happening as a result of me watching something,
Hmm.
like
Even just like shopping online and browsing stuff and articles on the internet, I find better because like I'm finding out about new stuff or I'm researching like toy market values and stuff.
right,
I know that
right.
sounds ridiculous, but like I like the fact that when you're like doing something and getting the knowledge and creativity, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's a whole other thing. But yeah, this thing, like you'll see, I think I boxed up and I shot with that GoPro some of the games going in a box, and then kind of documented a little bit and see where that goes if I can get a video out of that.
Right.
And I just got to figure out those Transformers and some stuff. But yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe you'll see a video update on the Playable Collection. But yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, and yeah, that takes it. I guess to the end of the podcast. You know, if you listen to all these segments, thank you so much. If you just listen to one of them, check out another one. They should be all in the playlist or out. You know, this one will be the last one out, so the others should be out. And yeah, thanks for joining me as per usual, man. I felt like we killed it more. You know, went on for a bit on a lot of things.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a lot of fun doing this, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, and like I said, all our links for our social medias and Twitters and all that are all down below. And yeah, smash a like. Tell us your comment. Are you outraged on this retro talk like you always are, retro people? And yeah, look forward to hearing from you.